All right, and we are live. Let's see here. How's it going, guys? Make sure to say hi in the chat so I know that you're here. Today we're going to be flashing the Adventure 5M with the new Dr. Alex firmware. I haven't done this yet, so we're going to see exactly how it goes. Not super sure. And I have a new potato camera. It's only temporary, but you guys need to be able to see the screen. So I have that here just so we can see the screen on the stream. And I do have chat open both YouTube and Discord. So if you want to say hi, go ahead and say hi. The Discord that I'm watching is the 0.cmd Discord. If you're not in that, it's in the description. You can go ahead and hop in. I'll primarily be watching YouTube live chat. No problem, Matt. It's going to be interesting seeing how it works out. How's it going, Mountain Maker? 906, good to see you. Everybody else, Ducati. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it works. I haven't flashed it yet, so we're going to be trying it out together for the first time and seeing how it works. We're going to pull up the GitHub and everything too. I don't even have it on this stream computer, so we're going to go through everything, pulling it up, drop it on the USB drive all together. So, I think I left a USB that I'm going to be using over at the other computer. So give me 1 second. Let me grab that. Yeah, the full experience. It's going to be everything. And there's no guaranteeing that it's even going to work. So we're going to see. If anybody else has flashed this firmware, go ahead and let me know. I have not yet. So, but we have some filament on the back of the printer. I was sent some of this deeply filament to try out. So far, it's been working pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and flash this and see how it works. Works perfect till now. We're flashing the Dr. Alex firmware for the AD5M. It's based off the Russian firmware, Zmod. It's a little bit different from the Clipper firmware. From my understanding, it leaves the main stock firmware, but side loads a bunch of stuff to it, which in my opinion is more preferable. So I'm going to drop this USB drive in. Hopefully the computer doesn't crash stream plugging in hardware. And there we go. Wrong button. Sorry about that, guys. So here's our USB drive. I went ahead and just shared the whole monitor instead of a single screen. And we have to find it. Pretty sure we can just go straight to his GitHub. Yeah, this is the dude right here. 5M. Looks about right. That's kind of cool right there. Interesting, the feather screen. We might try that today. It depends how far we get into the firmware. I'm not sure, again, how this is going to work out. So it just depends. Yeah, let's just go ahead and download it. Last updated 4 days ago. Right. And the way we do that, we're just going to drop it straight on the USB. I'm not going to unzip this or anything. The reason that we've been unzipping packages in the other videos, custom firmware for the 85X is going to be a while. I have a feeling that would be really cool. Yeah, the feather screen is interesting. I like the font style. It's got like a retro feeling to it. So, but yeah, we're not going to unzip this package. We're just going to leave it as it is. The reason I unzipped it in prior firmware videos is different firmware versions of the 85M have some naming conventions where they won't read the file, but they will read the init file that's inside of it once it's extracted. Let me go ahead and pull that out. And here we go. Should probably turn this off first, right? I'll just give it 1 second to breathe before I go ahead. I'm not ready yet. I woke up later than I was. That was you from your wife account? That's funny. I woke up a little bit later than I was expecting to. Yeah, Lucas, I need to redo the eddy mount for the K1s. If you're in the Simple AF Discord, just keep watching that and I'll drop that. I wanted to drop that this week, but things got really crazy around here. So hopefully next week I'll be redoing the whole mount. They should work together. The only real difference is they added the switch on the back, but I don't think the PCB cut is changed at all. So hey Daniel, nice to see you. Yeah, I do. I blame Samcraft for everything that goes wrong in the stream today. Hi Sam. I don't know if you're here or not, but hi, irregardless. All right, let's turn her on and see what happens. Hopefully the init file kicks in. Kind of cool. I don't have to turn around. I just watch it over here on stream. And again, this is the Dr. Alex firmware flash for the Adventure 5M series. It's kind of interesting. If anybody here has flashed a Creality, you know that the steps to do so are far more nightmarish. But everything with Creality is far more nightmarish. So far, I like this screen better than the flashing screens that we get with other firmwares. The other flashing screens are very much just nothing. They're like, hey, please wait. Yeah, there's no power button on the front of the on the non-pro version, which I really, really prefer. Yeah, I like the verbose. I like knowing what's going on. The other ones you would just plug in and it would be like, meh, I might be working, right? Sorry about the potato camera. It's the only camera I could just pull out and throw up. It's an old Logitech I had laying around. All right, reboot the computer or the printer. I guess it's a computer. Go ahead and pull that out. Yeah, Mountain Maker, the my 5M Pros, I have a screw, a very, very tiny screw holding the power button down because I have all my printers on smart switches. That way, when the rack turns on, they all turn on without pushing the power button, which is really annoying. I can't stand the power button on the Pro. So let's go ahead and turn this back on and see what happens. Yeah, it was really, really quick. Yeah, I think everybody needs more Flashforges. They're fun. I have not received the 85X yet. I'm not sure how to say your name. Pitiku? I don't know. Pitiku? I have no idea. I'm sorry for butchering your name. Hey, 10 Mile. Yeah, the that's my biggest gripe with the Pro is just the oh, that's pretty. I like the font that the guy went with. Initializing. Yeah. I don't know if this Dr. Alex guy will ever see this or not. Things kind of get around in the 3D community, so you never know, maybe. But if you do watch this, thank you very much for the verbose. I love knowing what's happening. Okay, so we're at the printer right now. Let's see if we can get an IP address. Give me 1 second, guys. This part I can hide from camera. Let's not leak any Wi-Fi information, right? Yeah, I thought about wiping the fingerprints off, but they were just going to get back on there anyways. 63. Just remember 63, guys. That's our IP address. See if we can see the screen. And you can see it's just the normal Flashforge screen for now. Later, if we can get the firmware working all together, we'll try the feather screen and see how that works out. Oh no, I'm not sure what happened, 906, but YouTube moderated your comment. Yeah, they're impossible to remove, but you know, Flashforge is keeping the prices low, so I love to see that. If we got to deal with a few fingerprints, we can live with fingerprints. Okay, 906, and we don't even have. We do have Orca Slicer. Okay. Oh, you spell checked yourself. We're not going to download the new Orca Slicer. That's not going to happen today. Okay. I'm 100% certain that we're going to have to modify something. There's no way that we get... Yeah, this should be... Was it 96, guys? It's not 96. I'm horrible with numbers. $63. Yeah, 96 is 63 backwards, right? Cool. It works. And there's no camera on this one. I have to get the camera to add on. See, you guys remembered it. If somebody tied me up and told me to remember a number, and in 10 minutes, if I didn't remember the number, I would die, I'd probably just, I wouldn't even try. I would just die. Okay, so we have our printer in here, but I'm fairly certain we need to make some changes. Let's see if we can hit the printer, because it's supposed to have fluid. I don't know if we have any information. Hey, we all have weird nicknames. Okay, does he share any start, stop? Follow the instructions. We could do that. Okay, we've already installed. We don't need to do that. Slicing. Yeah, we got to change our start, stop. So this is an interesting way. Port 448. Let me read what you said real quick. Yeah. All right, let's drop this start G code in real quick. Modify this printer. Oh, this is not a Pro. Doesn't really matter. Let's change this to 63. Go to our advanced. Let's get that in there. And then I'm pretty sure we have some end G code to do as well. Very streamlined. End print. Love it. Yeah, 906. I can do it as a pro or a non-pro. I just I don't know. I like my slicers to be correctly configured. On occasion, I just ignore everything and say, whatever, right? But I'll probably be using that later on the Pro, so I'll leave the Pro alone. So I'm reading Theo here to see what we're talking about. So you're talking about ports. I see you're mentioning the Moonraker port and the docks. Yeah, Daniel, I don't mind showing my internal IP address. That really doesn't matter a whole lot. A lot of people get freaked out about that. What I really didn't want to show is I didn't want to show my Wi-Fi networks. I don't know if you know this. There are sites out there where you could type in a list of SSIDs, and it will tell you where those SSIDs are. So keep your Wi-Fi information to yourself. Always a good tip. All right, so that is true, 906. No such thing as too safe. Let's go ahead and import I don't know, I had something. Let's import the printer. We're just going to shrink it down. I'm not going to print this full thing. I just want to see if it starts. If it starts, then we're going to go ahead and look at the fluid interface and everything like that. Right now, I just want to know what happens if I hit slice. Will the bed move? We're going to find out. Well, that was very uneventful. No fire, no nothing like that. So let's go ahead and see if we can hit the fluid interface. There's no port that I saw. Let's go back to the GitHub and see. We'll search for fluid. He doesn't mention a port. It might just be 80. 63 guys, right? Port 80. I always love it when guys just set something to port 80. And it's just working. It's that simple. This is one thing that always annoys me is the TVOC value and the weight value for the load cells. I don't want to see that. You can just click that off and just pay attention to your extruder and heater. I'm waiting for my replacement screen. Does anybody... I have seen a few people require a replacement screen. Normally it's fairly quick. I've heard stories about people having to wait, but for the most part, I'd say within a week or so, you should be able to get it pretty quickly. Pro, non-pro is enclosure, is the only difference enclosure? No, there are, the main difference, yes, would be the enclosure. Not the only difference is, stock from the factory, the Pro comes with the camera. The non-Pro does not come with the camera. You do have your side fans. You have internal filtration, and then you have your filtration all around for the printer. None of that is in the AD5M non-Pro version. You can mod to have those things in the printer. It uses the same board, the same MCU, everything like that. So you can mod to put those things on, but stock, the Pro comes with all of that. Internal filtration, the side fan, the filters on the back, the built-in camera, and obviously the enclosure. And it looks like we're just gonna print without incident. I really did not expect such a smooth situation here. Hopefully that fan's not too loud in the microphone. And keep in mind, guys, this is straight out of the box. We unboxed this during the last live stream, and I printed with it once or twice. I haven't done anything to this printer. Yeah, it was fairly painless. Let's go ahead and... That's a lot of macros. A lot of macros. And you can see it's just going to town over here. Let's go ahead and cancel that real quick. Print canceled. I don't want to hear it right now. I want to look at a few other things. I should have lubed this machine before I started using it, but I didn't. Just throw that over there. Okay, let's see what we have over here. I did see that this was supposed to have camp and other stuff like that. I haven't really dug into it. But it's the basic same config as if anybody here has run Zmod, it's the same. It looks pretty much like the same situation, except tweaked out and a little better. Awesome. Nothing too extravagant. Power off. That's interesting. Okay. That makes sense. And then our base config. You know, if you're running this mod at all, you don't need to touch any of this stuff. All this stuff is pretty much preset, I would assume, just like all the other custom firmwares. You really only have to get into this if you really want to. But for the most part, I expect that this firmware is just going to print. It's just interesting to see anything that's been changed. Oh, that's cool. So he's got a handful of different MIDIs here that we could play whenever you do a print complete or anything like that. I'm pretty sure we have a MIDI macro. Do we have a MIDI macro? Yeah, we do have a MIDI macro. I don't know if you guys heard that. Hey, Sam, nice to see you. Yeah, the filter, Daniel, for the ABS and the ASA, it works. But I wouldn't depend on it. I wouldn't depend on any 3D printer's filter to play anything or to filter out anything from your environment. It's just kind of like step one, but if you're printing ASA or ABS, you need to have either a bedroom window open, or if you're in a shop, you need to have fume extraction. Don't rely on the filters from any manufacturer or any 3D printer. Even if you don't smell it, you're getting sick if you're in an enclosed environment. So always have a window or a fume extraction. Okay. Yeah, did you guys hear that that little song we did there? That's always fun. Maybe I'll download the Final Fantasy prelude and throw it in there later, just for kicks. See what else we got. Mozart, huh? Battle Cry or Battle City. Yeah, you don't want to be printing ASA or ABS in a double insulated garage with no windows or doors or anything. Yeah, my studio has 0 windows. I had to install air filtration specifically for that. Oh, we can make it where you can hear the beeps. I'll put the beeps real close in just a second. What are we going to play here? Let's do Battle City. That's a song right there. Yeah, Daniel, we're gonna give me 1 second. Let me read that actually. I was assuming you were saying something else. Yeah, we're gonna do the feather screen here in a bit. I'm just kind of looking around Fluid and seeing how this guy built it out. Unlike Zmod, I do like that it is in English. Um, Here, it is my goal to make you guys hear this MIDI song, even if it's going to get annoying in the mic real quick. Here, let's see if we can hear it. All right, did that work? If that didn't work, I don't see the noise cancellation turn it off. Macro for move save. Nope, didn't work. Well, that sucks. We'll just have to admit defeat and accept the fact that we're not going to hear any fancy midis today. I did though. Heard a little beep. Well, that's good. It means the noise cancellation is doing its job. So, move safe. Let's see. Yes. We do have move safe. That fan finally throttled down. That's always fun. So let's see how we get to the feather screen. That's going to be interesting because I'm assuming that just throwing the start and end G code out there and the machine just started printing. So I'm assuming that we don't really have any issues with Fluid and anything like that. So I want to see the feather screen because we know what Fluid looks like. We know what the configurations look like. We don't know what this whole feather situation is. So let's go. I don't want to run the new Vivaldi. I want to see this feather screen. Oh, Sam, with yep, that's true. Nobody can say that. Yeah, Saturn. I did run Zmod for a while. I was testing different things out. I just opened up Chrome and told it to translate the whole thing to English. For the most part, it did pretty well. It could not translate the console. I don't really care about the Telegram bot here. Certain people do. Screen. I do that thing where I see a wall of text and my brain immediately shuts off. So I have to force myself to read this, guys. Um, Configuration macros. I don't want to read. I'm going to level with you. I really just don't want to read it. I'm just going to copy that and see what happens. Let's drop it into the I would say, without digging into it, because I just dropped this on here, Daniel, but Clipper Mod left some things undone. It left a lot of things messy. It does work. I am assuming that if I dug into this right here from Dr. Alex, I am assuming that it is better done. I don't think the guys that set up Clipper Mod have any interest in continuing it, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I do like continued development and I do like improvements. If you want to have improvements, most likely you're going to see that in something like the Dr. Alex firmware, where you're not really going to get any further development in the original Clipper Mod firmware. So I'm assuming that this is going to end up being a better option. Yes, I do have some more K1 stuff coming, Fez. It's a little side. It's not going to be like my main thing, but I do have more K1 stuff coming. It's very difficult right now because there's a lot of mess going on. So since I don't want to read anything, and I'm just going to assume that this macro is going to do the job, I'm just going to hit enter and see what happens. All right, that was pretty painless. We're going to see this for the first time together. I guess that's it. Um, Yeah. No, everything is restricted because they don't release, proprietary stuff. There are some open source dislikes and arguments in the community regarding Flashforge. I understand both sides of the argument, which is not a comfortable position to be in. I wish I was in a camp where I was just on one side of the fence and could just like yell at the other. Unfortunately, I'm in a camp where I understand both sides to the firmware issues. I could go into a big rant about it, but I won't. So we'll just leave it at that. By the way, in case you're wondering, like the little tangent I went off on just now, it's regarding the stock firmware in regards to Clipper open source and open source requirements. So we'll leave it at that. I may get into it into the future. I have no idea what that means, clutch kick. Okay, let's go back to our feather screen. Yeah, that's cool. So I wonder what it's going to look like when we start printing. Will it just I don't know. Let's see. Let's go back up to this. Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. I will say okay, the feather screen, I like it. I love that the loading bar is not or the progress bar is not a progress bar. It's by itself. It's verbose. It's verbose. I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, that's cool, man. Oh, yeah. Don't get me wrong, I do like stock firmware. Most of the printers are probably going to have stock firmware on them. But, you know, I'm in a room where I don't need to manually control or remotely control a bunch of stuff. It's just all right here. I have access to all my printers within 2 seconds of standing up. Yeah, we're gonna find out. So, um, I don't see any start stop options on the feather screen. But it'd be really cool. I haven't touched the screen at all, so we'll find out real shortly. So it turns out I could tap dance on the screen and nothing happens. I don't know if he intends to expand on the feather screen. Absolutely love it. If there was an e-stop, that would be all. But the factory firmware doesn't have an e-stop either on the screen. No more fingerprints? Oh, we could put more fingerprints on it. Yeah, I like this feather screen. It's cool, man. I highly doubt if he does watch it or see this, if Dr. Alex sees this for some reason, I highly doubt he'd watch the full thing. But just in case, super cool. Good job. I think this is going to be really interesting for the community. I will dig into it more after um, after the live stream. Okay, yeah. If Matt, if it's supposed to be customizable for the feather screen, um, I can look around and see. If you guys have an idea of where that customizability may be, um, just let me know. It's hard to get into the GitHub and do all the reading because I'm trying to pay attention to chat, pay attention to some stuff on Discord and the printer. Doing this is kind of like juggling cats, right? Gonna have a field day with this one. Yeah. 906, I can't wait to dig into this more. Once I'm off stream later and I have my chores done, as all adults have to address. Once I'm off live stream and all my chores are done, I'll end up digging into this firmware more and more. But there's a high likelihood that it will be the newer recommended firmware. I like that it side loads to the original Flashforge. To what level? I don't know. Yeah. So that's one thing I actually like, Matt. I prefer the ABL for the AD5Ms. One of the things with Flashforge is, love them or hate them, the machines, for most people, work really well untouched. So getting into clipper and fluid and messing with a bunch of things that don't need to be messed with was not my favorite thing about the clipper mod. This is default behavior. I haven't touched anything. What you're seeing the printer do is just what it's doing. I haven't changed anything in the configs. I haven't set anything special in Orca Slicer. I just tossed in the start in G code and we threw it off to the printer. The only macro that I've run is just to enable the feather screen, which is really awesome. And it makes me want to play Doom on a 486 all by myself all day long. Yeah, the triple probe ABL. Is that on the stock firmware 906? There's a little bit of a delay. I think we're at like a 40-second delay or even more because I'm streaming in 4K. Oh, it could 100% play Doom. It could 100% play Doom. It needs to play Doom. That'd be really cool. Hey, Thomas, nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, it started with 3 point and above. 3.1.4. All right. And let's go ahead and cancel this. If you guys credit you for the idea, for the custom firmware video. So I've been watching this for a while. This has been on my to-do list, but I will absolutely give you credit. This was 906's idea. So we're seeing a few console errors here. If you're anything like me, you could safely and comfortably ignore the occasional console error, which I do. Yeah, obviously that's going to be an error. Yeah, so we have some weight issues, which is to be expected. Oh, the Doom on the 5M, 100%. It needs to be on the 5M. So, I don't know if you know it, anybody who's looked at the 5M. The USB is just USB. You could put a USB, like a dock on there, or a USB hub. You could plug in a mouse, keyboard, camera, and running in the background, I know everybody thinks it's like this really convoluted firmware, but what's running it is, it's just Linux. So somebody, if they're motivated enough, could absolutely put Doom on here. And I bet you if Dr. Alex felt like it, he could 1000% put Doom on the AD5M and 5M Pro. And if he did, I would play it. We would turn into a gaming channel, and I would 100% OG Doom. Plug an Xbox controller into it. We could. Wouldn't that be fun? Okay, let's figure out this feather screen situation. Has anybody in the chat run this firmware before? Or am I all on my own over here? Uncharted territory with no friends. Major Tom all by myself. Duke Nukem. Well, it's got the it's not really a speaker. It's just a tweeter. But Duke Nukem could work. Okay, do we have anything? So here's our screen. Feathers. Extended screen functionality. What? Okay, so we have to, if I want to mess with the feather screen, we have to SSH into it. Which I probably won't do today, because it looks like it's more like he gives you the ability to expand on feather screen, if I'm reading this right. So yeah, it's more of a, he gives you the pile of Legos and you get to put some stuff together, which is really cool. I probably won't be doing that today. Yeah, I was just looking at that. there's no way I could say your name. If somebody held me at uh, against a wall and told me they'd beat me up, I still wouldn't be able to say your name. I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to call you Muck. My reading skills, I think I put myself in like I don't know, second grade special kid class. That's where my reading skills are. No, no, I didn't do anything. Um, the all I did was drop the. I didn't do any like. Are you talking about the feather screen values to enable feather screen through the start G code? So there's two ways to enable the screen. You can do it by adding it to the start in G code, or you could do it with the macro right here to just enable a screen. I did it through the macro and used the normal start in G code from the GitHub that doesn't affect the screen, which to me is preferable. If you want to set the screen, you should set it, outside of your start end print. I think that's kind of like maybe a more debuggy option. I thought I'd turn that off. Sorry. Yeah, I think that's more of just a debuggy option if you want to do it through the start end G code. Yeah, the G code that we copied is right here. That's all we copied. This, I didn't use this, the alternative, because I figured that's probably better set in macro. Now, this screen is awesome. I love it. But I'm still a fan of I do like the stock screen. I feel like they did a good job of it. I'll tell you what, I'm a huge design guy. I don't like the look of clipper screen. I can't stand it. It feels clustered, claustrophobic to me. It doesn't feel laid out very well. But yeah, this is the start in G code that we dropped in. It's real simple, right there from the GitHub stock screen version. Yeah, I agree. I think that's the preferred way to do it. So let's see what else we have going on over here. FAQ, let's read. Yep. That would be a very strange thing to do. Have Clipper Mod and ForgeX, which I guess that's what he's going to be calling this, is ForgeX. Good name. No problem, 906. Yeah, I hope you get it going. It's super, super easy. Cool. Yeah. Very, very basic setup. No real problem. Just thumb drive dropping in. I'm surprised that it didn't really have anything major with it. Very, very uneventful. But I do like this screen a lot. Once stream's over and I'm back just with the printer by itself, I'm gonna be digging into it more. I'm definitely going to be doing a video on it at some point. But here we go. So we're probably not going to stream for 3 hours, for almost 4 hours again today. But if there's anything else you guys want me to look at, I could do that. I don't really see anything major to dig in. It's just very plain, cut and dry. It's supposed to auto detect the camera. I don't have a camera because it's running, you know, stock. I need to install that camera. Yeah, so Matt, you're 100% right. You do need to run shaper calibrations, and you do need a PID test. If you install this firmware, don't assume that you should just print. The only reason I didn't is for live stream, right? So those tests take a long time. Was it 20, 30 minutes for a full PID testing on the bed and nozzle? I think it's probably closer to 40 minutes. So we don't want to PID test or do anything like that on stream. But 1000% right. If you're going to run this firmware, there are calibrations that you need to be running. I just didn't do it in the, you know, the vibes for live streaming. Nobody wants to sit through 40 minutes of waiting. Wondering if it's able to grab that from stock firmware. So I wouldn't really know because you know what? We can go in and look at that actually. Because it does go through its, you know, self-check, the self-check, you know, PID and input shaping and everything like that. So if we go to our printer config, okay, so we do have our input shaping values. We do have, you know, I'm not seeing PID. I do see input shaping, but I'm not seeing PID. Here we go. Maybe if I go to the screen real quick and show you guys. So yeah, here's our input shaping. There's no PID values. The way that they calculate it might be different on stock firmware. Irregardless, I would probably still run both of those even if they were passed from stock firmware. Yeah, so that macro, Matt, needs to be redone. Because one of the issues was it would run for some people and it wouldn't run for other people. So I'm not going to recommend it. I need to change the way that it does the input shaping. And then I could start recommending it again. Yeah, so it looks like I said, it looks like input shaping is passed. Unless I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing PID or anything else, just input shaping. But I don't think that the stock firmware goes through a complete PID because the whole process is about 10, 15 minutes. And there's no way in 10 or 15 minutes to do a complete PID test. So they might just do one pass and say, yeah, check that. That's fine. So that might be why we're not seeing PID in the printer.cfg, which, you know, I don't know. Somebody else would know more than I would know. Hey Doug, how's it going? You flashed it a few days ago? We grab a water real quick. Throw you guys back to this really fancy feather screen. I love the colors and the font and everything he picked. Man, it makes me want to play Doom some more. Alrighty, and we're back. Yeah, the calibration crashing is one of the things that it's really the reason that I stopped telling people to use it. I probably need to take it out of the description for that video. I do see like I said, I see a video for this coming out relatively soon. I'm not sure how soon. We're very busy over here. If we could get somebody to get Doom running on the AD5M, yeah, Doom LAN party, 100%. Because there's a video that does not exist on the internet. 3D printing gaming LAN party. That would be awesome. That'd be really awesome. So Doug, have you been printing with it or just been printing in like non-calibrated? I'll be honest, I do that quite often because I change things back and forth and I really don't have time to go through the calibrations and everything. I'll put firmware on, immediately remove it, and then do something else. So this firmware will be back and forth until I'm very familiar with it. I like to familiarize myself before I start, telling people to use something, and then there's like a massive unforeseeable bug that I didn't know about and, destroys people's stuff. So it'll be a bit, hopefully not too long, but we will have the video on this. So far, I like it. It is throwing some errors, but that has nothing to do with the firmware, I expect. It has a little bit to do with the load cells and how they're implemented. But we can safely ignore those errors. They're not really an issue. And I'm assuming I'm not reading fully through the macros here. Yeah, here it is. Remove mod. So if you do want to just toss this on a USB drive or something like that and put it in your printer, it should just come up no problem. I wouldn't, even though it says you can put it next to Clipper mod, I wouldn't. And there's several reasons why I wouldn't. A lot of it has to do with the environment, and you don't want to cluster up that environment too much. So if you're going to put it on, just go clean stock firmware. That's my recommendation. Less likelihood that anything would go wrong. But you can play around with this and then see that we do have the remove firmware mod, and it's just single button. And we'll do that before we end the live stream to show you how quickly it comes and how quickly it goes. It's nothing that anybody should be really afraid to do. Oh yeah, the eye activated cameras. Well, they're not really eye activated. There's some magic happening elsewhere. Yeah, Forge X seems really, really cool. Um, Again, yeah, it's no fuss, just dropped on there. I could dig through configs and stuff like that, but it's a little boring. I don't want to go through the config. So I do like this a little better um, than just a simple toggle for the light. So we can already see that there are things that are implemented better in Forge X. Yes, they are eye activated. I need to get a camera on here. I really would have liked to test out the um, automatic camera adding. You know, if he says it works, most likely it works. It's not really that difficult. All you have to do is, yeah, it's not really that difficult. I don't know why adding a camera to firmware, I mean, the machine should see there's a camera. You already know the address of the machine. So there's really no reason to go in and manually add stuff. It should automatically be able to parse that information and be added to the config. So that annoyance, hopefully I can't confirm it, but maybe, hey Jagos, nice to see you. Maybe 906, if you drop this on your machine, you could let me know in Discord. Just confirm whether or not the camera automatically comes up, which would be great. Um, how long would it take to add the camera? Well, I'd have to buy one first. I'd have to buy a camera or plug in a webcam. And I'm pretty sure that the adding on the camera happens during the installation phase. I can't really say that for sure, but I would assume that when you install it, it automatically adds that camera. Yeah, I am under an hour and a half. I do need a camera though. I have this camera here, but the problem with that camera is the firmware doesn't really like to be, or stock firmware or even Clipper mod doesn't really like running, a 4K camera. Even if it's not in 4K, it wants to, I don't know. I've had issues with it, or I would have plugged this camera that you're viewing right here in. It's a 4K camera, but for some reason it runs horribly in 4K. Terribly, terribly. The stock camera doesn't work with feather screen. Okay, that's interesting. Hmm. Let's look. All right, Muck. Now you have me interested. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, the stock. Yeah, the screen doesn't really have anything to do with the camera. Oh, nice, Doug. Um, yeah, if you want to confirm that those values update in the printer config, that'd be cool. I'll do all that testing later, but it'd be nice for people in chat to see, you know, if those actually update. Yeah. We're running a very high bit rate on this stream right now, which leads to longer, stream delays. But that's quite okay. I'm wishing I had a camera somewhere. The only option for camera would be to take it out of another 5M. I don't know. Should we steal the camera? We can steal it. It only takes about a second. Oh yeah, you see the sign that Samcraft sent me. I still need to make a stand, but I was like, we can just send it over here. Is that in the GitHub information, Muck? Because the firmware should be independent from screen display. I mean, the firmware is still running in the background because it manages a lot of other things. So even though you're not seeing the screen, so it is in the interesting. So Shaper Calibrate crashed when you ran it from the screen. And that's with the stock screen. Okay, yeah, we'll steal the camera here in a second. Yeah, it's interesting about the feather screen and the camera situation. We'll confirm that here very soon. Let's steal something. Give me a second. I'm gonna get a screwdriver. Alrighty. We're gonna do some hardware thievery here. This poor guy. Go ahead and steal this. I'm blind today. I couldn't find the Phillips. So yes, any webcam that works with Flashforge should work with Forge X. The failure test happened on Y-axis. Gotta be gentle here. I don't want to break this. Don't want to break this screen, so just... There we go. Real gently. Then we can yoink this out of here. And there we go. Camera theft. We could throw this back here. We don't need it no more. Yeah, so yeah, that's interesting. I'm sure there's going to be a workaround or something for the input shaping once we dig into it a little bit more. But it's not surprising that it crashed. Let's see here. Let's, hopefully we don't break this as well. Very scary. Ah, the cable's like twisted. It wants to fight me. It doesn't want to go in how it's supposed to be doing the going in. Okay, there we go. And yoink. Now we have a camera, but we are on feather screen, so let's go back here. I'm fairly certain that we're not going to see a camera right away. Go to our camera. Managed by the Moonraker configuration. Yeah, that's not surprising. Honestly, that's how it should be. So whenever you install the firmware, I'm pretty sure that's when it picks up the information and adds it to the configuration. So let's go ahead and remove the firmware. See how easy and how pretty that is. Now let's get it. There we go. No more fingerprints. There are no fingerprints on the screen. Yeah, I know it does. Matt, the main thing I want to see is from, I mean, we could flip it over and see, but oh, that's interesting. Something very strange just happened. Okay. Stream's still here. Whenever I flip the power on the machine, it must have done something. So let's avoid doing that again. luckily the stream is still going. I will in the future not be running the power for the printer off of the same circuit as the stream computers. Interesting. You have to run the mod cameras or the mod camera steps. Okay, yeah, thanks, Doug. The way I'm going into this is 100% blind with reading very minimal information. Something. Yeah. Yeah, the decoration's very, very fun. Let's see what's going on here. So I'm not sure why, but we are not getting Amiga. So not exactly Amiga. Yeah, I don't know why, but we're not getting fluid backup. Maybe the IP address or something changed. But the problem is we are in feather screen. So I don't know what I could do about that. I mean, we could ping it and see if we are on the same address. Yeah, let's go ahead and ping it here. Okay, so it looks like the address of the printer changed. Yeah, so I won't be opening my router on the stream computer for obvious security reasons. I could go over to the other machine and see what IP it picked up, but we're running several printers, and the issue is sometimes the printers randomly think they're other sort of devices. So I would have to dig through the client list and all that. So I think the better option would be I don't know. I don't think we can reflash because I don't think we can reflash because there has to be okay, there we go. Awesome. Very kind of him to do so. So we just need remove mod on the USB drive. Let's do that. Oh, interesting. Look at this file. So it outputs the verbose from the install onto a file on the USB drive afterwards. Very interesting. We can safely delete that. That's annoying that it's not showing. I'm pretty sure. I don't know where it just went. It went somewhere. Okay, we need to go to folder options in Windows and enable file extensions. It's really annoying that they hide file extensions by default. Just going to do this. Last time I flipped the computer, or the printer, last time I flipped the printer over, it got angry and blipped something in the stream. So if my cameras stream out, hopefully, or flip out, hopefully they'll come right back. So we're going to pull this, put it in the machine, and remove the mod, and then redo it. And just hope for the best case scenario. Okay. We are still here, and we're going to pretend there are no fingerprints on that screen. It's over here somewhere. And let's see if it... Okay. We're still live. No stream issues. Thanks. It's my favorite black shirt. Sweet. So we have an uninstall verification verbose. I love the fact that whenever something's happening on the printer, ForgeX is letting you know that it's happening. Absolutely love that. This mod with cam, that's what we're trying to do right now, is get the camera up, see if it automatically comes up. All right, I'm gonna let you guys watch that. I'll be right back. I am. No, it didn't hang up. I stepped away for 1 second. Hopefully. Oh, you mean the screen? Yeah, I don't know what's happening on the remove. Let's see real quick. Yeah. We'll let it sit there for a minute. And then after it sits there for a minute, we'll go ahead and kill it. Check the router. Removing firmware doesn't really have much to do with the router. That's a good point, Matt. Yeah, I'm sure I'll see all that stuff once I dig into the mod. The way I wanted to come into this was I just wanted to take the mod and throw it on there without reading anything, because that's generally what a lot of people are going to do. They're going to get on YouTube, they're going to watch a video, follow the recommendation, and they're not going to dig through the GitHub. So I wanted to see how painless it is. And for the most part, it's painless. We're just having an issue with this. I should update the description of the YouTube real quick. Yeah, here we go. All right. I have updated the description to link the GitHub that we're working with. Yeah, whenever I do stuff, I wanna do it from the perspective of. So Alice, this should be compatible with the AD5M Pro. I don't really see an issue there. I haven't done it, but I don't really see any compatibility issues. Worst case scenario, you might have to manually add something to a config. If I dug into the GitHub, I could answer that question better, but I haven't dug into the GitHub, and I really haven't done it on purpose. I want to stumble around because that's what most people are going to do, right? They're just going to stumble around. And it looks like we're just chilling on this screen. So what do you guys think? Just flip the switch, hope for the best. Yeah, CoPrint 3D. So technically the CoPrint 3D would work with the Pro. You would just have to leave the top off. Just pull the top plastic and the CoPrint 3D would work. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and power cycle here. Again, if the cameras blip out or anything, hopefully I'll be right back. I don't know why flipping the power switch blipped out the cameras. And here's hoping. That was a quick camera blip. Fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed. Well, The remove mod trick started some verbose, but it didn't. Oh, something's happening. Let me read this. So it's saying failed to connect, current status disconnected. So it's doing something. We'll just leave it alone for a second. Yeah, so much for removing. I don't know. We'll try it again after this. If it fails once, why not let it fail twice, right? That was weird. It did a strange verbose thing and said goodbye. Very strange. Nice, Alice. I see that dropped in. Yeah, it's the removing situation seems borked. It should be connected. I do see that our RJ45 NIC is doing, it is communicating. So if I went over to the router, I'm sure, if I went over to the other PC, I'm sure I could find it. Let's see if there's any verbose on the thumb drive from the remove mod. No, there's nothing. Okay. Back to GitHub. Uninstall. We are FAT32. That shouldn't be an issue. Okay, it says that we should see a message on the screen saying that it's been removed, and it should have a file on the drive for the log. I'm going to copy this exactly and just rename our file. It's the same exact thing, but why not give it a shot? We're going to try removing one more time. Somewhere over here. There we go. Yeah, there is a huge delay. It has to do with the bitrate that I'm streaming in. I'll probably change the bitrate a bit for the next stream. Let's try this one more time. see what this says here. Interesting. So it's not removing. The drive is FAT32. Unless there's something I'm just missing here. Let's do this one. Download the uninstall image and try that. Yeah, I generally leave people alone on GitHub. It's probably a good thing that GitHub doesn't have direct messaging. That'd probably be a nightmare for a lot of people. Yeah, Matt, that's what I'm doing right now is the uninstall image. This is one of the side effects of going in blind and not reading anything, is it makes the stream a little bit more exciting. Okay, now this should work. And see if our camera's blip again. Yep, quick though. All right, let that run for 1 second. Huh. I wonder if it's not reading this USB drive all of a sudden. I did get some replies, Daniel. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let me find a different USB drive. The fancy Flashforge USB drive. I have a feeling for some reason it's just not seeing that drive all of a sudden. So let's go ahead and just do a remove mod on here real fast. And check this. Yeah, that's FAT32. When all else fails, blame the hardware. Shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to put that on the drive. Yeah, I got one. I got a bunch of drives from Flashforge. Let's go back here and see. So I'm just doing what the GitHub says, which is the remove mod. That's not working either. Yeah, Doug, you would have to drop that information in Discord. YouTube's very picky about what we can say in the comments. All right, let's put the image on here now on this Flashforge drive. Um, let's just download this again. I'm sure the printer's still on. Hi, Alice. I'm sure the printer is still on network. It's just I don't want to open up the router on this stream PC. Worst case scenario, I can go over there and find the IP address. Hopefully this image works. Okay, so maybe it's just me, maybe it's the machine, but the image isn't removing the firmware, and neither is the blank file. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go over to the other PC and pull some information, see if we can get an IP address, and we'll remove it from the interface. If I can get back into Fluid somehow. I'm sure we can get into Fluid. I just have to have the it would be quicker to flash factory firmware. If we could find the right one. I wish they had dates on here. That's just the how-to. No download link. That's just the history. Here we go. That's not what we want. There we go. You linked it in general? Yeah, thanks for that. Sorry, I missed it. Whenever I'm doing stream, it's like half my brain shuts off. We can go ahead and drop that right there. Yeah, just half my brain shuts off whenever I'm doing the stream. I'm trying to read chat a little bit, still keep on track with what I'm doing, manage all the stream equipment and any other stuff going on. So, really easy to go dumbhead. Okay, so we're copied. So let's go ahead and drop that in. It'd be really funny if it didn't. I probably should have ejected that because Windows is, yeah. And hopefully we'll get a Flashforge firmware install here. Nope. Very interesting turn of events. Let me check for an IP address after this boots up. And I'm going to grab a water. And see what's happening. Yeah, I did this try to reconfigure before, and it got stuck on this. No, it shouldn't need to be a clean drive. So all it's doing is when you plug a drive in, it's looking for that one file name. And it's very possible that it's not ForgeX. It could just be this specific machine or something. Maybe there's something going on with the USB. Maybe there's something with the ribbon cable. I don't know. It could always be hardware or software. But let me go check the other computer real fast and see if we can have an IP address. Nice, 906. Yeah, the install goes super smooth. It's just the uninstall is not experiencing that, at least on this machine. Give me 1 second. So I figured out the issue. What's happening is, for some reason, the Wi-Fi is taking over on the NIC, or instead of the hard line, the Ethernet. Yeah, I tried different USBs. I tried flashing back to stock, and I've tried the remove mod and the remove mod image. Neither one are working, but we do have connection, so that's not a problem. So we can get the fluid, but just to be sure, I want to make sure that the mod is removable. So we're going to run the remove mod command in fluid just to make sure that it is removable. Yep. Goodbye. Go back to the screen. Is it doing anything? It's restarting. Okay, yeah, thanks, Doug. So yeah, I'll check out what he says about the calibration on the docks. The hardware for the AD5M is super limited, so some of the clipper calibrations can really stress the MCU and cause MCU errors. Yeah, 906, that verbose is really pretty. I love it. And there we go. So the remove clipper mod does work. Can verify that that is the case. It's weird that it fell back to Wi-Fi even though I had Wi-Fi disabled and we're plugged into Ethernet. Yeah, no, the video doesn't do it justice. Um, yes, the MCU is the same on the 5M and the 5M Pro. They're identical. And all the options and stuff, you could run 5M Pro firmware on the 5M. And then if you wanted to add all those mods and everything, the internal fan, the filtration and everything, you could do that. There are some headers missing, but you can replace those headers on the MCU for the 5M. So let's get the firmware back onto this image real quick and flash it up and see how our camera works out. And thanks for sticking around, guys. Today's stream has been very interesting. So let's go back here. I can't be... Screen's really tiny and hard to read over there. Here we go, Forge X. So we can copy that and drop that back onto our USB drive. I'm going to make sure that we actually... Nice, congrats. Hey, J Ghost. Disconnect camera. Well, I want to see that it pulls the camera in. So Dan, I wouldn't know the SSH username and password. I'm sure it's on the GitHub. But like I said, I wanted to make sure that I read as little bit about or little as I could on the GitHub. I want to come in dumb to this. All right, and let's see how this works out. And just like before, I'm sure the cameras are going to blip out. That's so strange, that little bitty power surge for the cameras. Go ahead and let that run. What's up, Low Sync? LO Sync. Root passwords Clipper, typically. Yeah. I really do like the, I love what he went with on the screen here. It's awesome. Yeah, multicolor printing's not a quick endeavor. It's, unless you're doing a tool head changer, you're going to take some time. Let's see here. Are we saying reboot? No. We're still initializing. Low Sync, if you're having problems with your, are you talking about on stock or aftermarket firmware? Because on community firmware, you need to make sure that you update your slicing G code, your start and end G code in the printer profile. Because the way that it passes those variables is different. Yeah, I am real and not AI. That's a very strange comment that I keep getting, is that I'm AI, which is that a compliment? I don't know. Maybe that's a compliment, but it's very strange. AI generally is a lot prettier than I am. Yeah, so when you're running the community Clipper firmware, you need to make sure that you update your start and end G code in the printer profile. And I'll actually, give me 1 second, I'll show you where that's at. It just so happens that we have it up, but I'll close it real quick. So right here, you go to your printer, select the printer that you're using, go to your profile, go to machine G code, and you need to copy the start and end print that is on the GitHub for the version that you are running. So if you're running Clipper mod, it will have that information in there. Okay. And it looks like our screen is telling us that it's time to restart the printer. Awesome. That does sound like something AI would say. I'm not AI. Trust me, guys. I'm not. Let's look at this pretty boot up sequence. Yeah, I agree, 906. But I'll tell you what, I like the stock screen. I feel like it's laid out, it's not claustrophobic, it is well designed. Um, so Flint, there's two options. There is the stock screen and then there is the feather screen. Um, the feather screen is literally that. There's nothing. It's just display and some status. There's some stuff where you could dig in and do a few things on the SSH side. I haven't done that, and I probably won't be doing that today. Um, I'm just going over the main feel of everything. Okay, so let me check the IP address. We are on Ethernet this time. It didn't fail back over to 63. Cool. So it didn't fail back over. And as you can see, we're on our stock screen, and then we will go into fluid. And I'll hit fluid, and you guys will see at the same time I do. Will the camera be there? There's no camera. Yeah, I prefer the stock screen over both Clipper screen and Guppy screen. And this file is locked, so I don't know. You are right, Mountain Maker. Let's do that. So the Flashforge doesn't have the camera on by default, which means the service isn't running or anything like that. So let's turn the camera on Flashforge on the stock screen. See if there's a camera. Camera reload. Okay. Yeah, Flint, that is mod data camera config. Yeah, so that's no IP or any information like that. It would be in Moonraker, but the Moonraker config. Yeah, 906, if you beat me to it, let me know how you got the camera up and going. We can race to it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this file is locked and we can't really do anything with it. Yeah, we can't. It's read only, so you know what we can do is we could ignore the example there. We'll just copy that. So this should. It should be port 8080, I would assume still, since it is stock firmware. And we'll copy this for the snapshot as well. Add that camera and connection not working. So let's go back. Oh, get rid of the webcam section. It should just be action. Still nothing. I'm fairly certain that it's just action stream. Okay, it is action stream. So, hello camera. Yeah, I'll reload fluid. Or I'll reload the camera in the macro. Huh. Interesting. So we know the camera is there. Doug listed a command in chat. Okay, let's see Doug here. Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing the... Okay, here we go. It's interesting. Camera config. Look at variables. Okay, that's nothing. I mean, this really isn't... Still having issues over here. Can't delete that. Double checking everything. Good call. No, it should be, that is, there is no, there's no slash at the end of it. Yeah, we could reboot it. Why not? When all else fails, flip the power, right? Yeah, let's do that. I mean, in theory, it should just work. But the clipper screen didn't have it enabled, or the screen didn't have it enabled, so maybe the mod didn't see it. But really, Fluid will pull any camera in as long as you have a URL. So it should just be pulling that camera in. I'm not sure why it's not. Did you just flash to this? Did you flash to Forge X Mountain Maker? Hey, Rons. Give this a second here. And there we go. We just had to, wow, potato much, huh? That's really dark for some reason. It's normally not that dark. Wonder if he has some settings or something. Let's go back. I can show you guys. I wasn't on that screen. It's really dark. And it's doing some weird gain stuff. Let's look at the configuration mod data camera. Oh, that, yeah. Okay. Yeah. We know that's too much, bro. That's too much. I don't know what these, I don't know what the real variables are here. Let's try to reload camera though, because that's, system. Yeah, there we go. So the camera's working. It's just those are not the results that we want. And we should be on, yeah, we're on main, not all. Yeah, so we ran the camera reload and it didn't take effect. Yeah. Oop. Let's go brightness. Just go brightness 50. That seems to be the standard right there. Technically, I probably could just delete this whole section here or comment it out and it would just be its default values. You know, let's do that. Okay, so we just commented out all video processing. We'll try to reload camera again. If that don't work, we'll just reboot. It's probably not updating those parameters because it wants those parameters. However, he has it configured as well. So that's not a good idea. Let me go back in and change that. And I'm just going to power cycle the machine. Machines are off right now. Everything's sleeping for stream time. Yeah, 906. I'm fairly certain that it's just camera settings. The issue is those settings are like wild variables. I'm not sure why those are set. He might not be using a stock Flashforge camera. He might be using just a webcam he had laying around, and he had to go extreme to make that webcam look good. That's probably the case. Um, I'm fairly confident that we can get the stock camera looking good. And once I do, I'll share those variables. Or if you beat me to it, feel free to drop those variables in whatever Discord anywhere. So our screen is back. That means we are back to fluid with no camera. Okay, so there's not. Let's double check our camera settings. I mean, this should. Interesting. Our camera's not. Our service may not be running. Let's check the screen real quick. Yeah, so the camera is not. It will flip on and then flip off. So let's just go ahead and reboot it again. I'm not sure what just happened there. There might be a few little bugs here and there. Dr. Alex has in time, I'm sure. So we're just going to let this reboot and see if our camera comes back up this time. In 906, you had to do the same thing. You had to restart. Yeah, bugs aren't fun, Ron. Bugs aren't fun. But I have been seeing that he is working very, very actively on this mod. So I don't foresee those bugs lasting very long. Yeah, Ron, whenever everything's like ironed out, I will make sure to be doing a full video on the channel. See if our camera comes back on. Okay, our camera is not coming back on. There is an error with the stream. All the same bumps that I'm having 906. So we could try to update camera. Nothing. All right, give me 1 second, guys. I want to leave you right on this screen. All right. So going back to fluid. Yeah. So the main issues right now seem to be camera related. That's not a major game stopper for the firmware itself. It might be a showstopper for anyone who just wants to use fluid, because that's one of the main reasons to use the firmware, is to have remote access with a camera. Okay, awesome. Yeah, thanks for the information, Doug. The other issue is, as you guys saw, is we have some problems with the remove mod and the remove mod file not working. So if you lose connectivity to the printer, it would be difficult at this point, unless somebody else experiences something different, to remove the mod, because we weren't even able to get the init to recognize with the Clipper firmware official on the USB. And we tried two different USBs. The remove mod does work via macro. Those are the two main bugs that I'm seeing right now. The enable mod camera. Okay, let's go ahead and try. Let's try that. Thanks, Muck. We'll give that a shot real quick and see what happens. Now, I haven't read the GitHub. Like I said, I'm going into this blind, so you guys are just handing me commands and I'm dropping them in. But you say try it, and we'll go ahead and try it. Alt camera not used. I don't know what that means. I'd have to read the GitHub. Yeah. But for some reason, the camera's not initializing on the stock screen. You know, this is really, just to reiterate, this is really, really early days. I think not even a week or two ago, there wasn't even an image. We can go to the GitHub and look at the release date. The release is right here. But like a week or two ago, there wasn't even an image here, and he's working on this. What's the date on one? Yeah, so this was last week. And then, yeah, so those are the only two versions on here. We could try a reload camera. But I don't know if reload camera will even work, because the service itself doesn't seem to be running. I'm not sure why that is. There's something going on with the service not running. Whenever I go to the stock screen and we go into camera and enable, it begins to enable the camera and then turns it off. That's weird. I just did this 5 times, and what it would do is it would enable the camera and turn it off, enable the camera and turn it off. And I just did it again, and now our camera's live. So we should be able to reload fluid and get a feed here. Maybe. We are not getting our feed. Oh, wrong thing. We don't need to type that in. I don't see a reload camera. I see the update the camera parameters, but I'm not seeing reload cameras. Yours has been stable since you got to show up. Yeah, I don't see any reload camera. We can go ahead and yeah, update camera just updates the variables. Oh, I guess it has it both in there. That's weird. And that's still not working. So let's just go ahead and give it one last reboot and see what happens. Again, yeah, the firmware is super promising. Just iron out a few things here or there. I don't want you guys to get too scared or worried about it. He's, like I said, he's still working on this. This is still really early days, and it's already better than what we've experienced from Clipper Mod and some other variants. So I think give Dr. Alex some time, and this may end up being the best option that we're going to get for the AD5M series. Like I said, the main issues are just the remove mod and the camera stuff. But the camera stuff's kind of always an issue. And we still don't have camera. Let's look on the... Okay, so our camera is live. Our service is running. Let's go ahead and copy the camera URL, and I'm pretty sure that it will open up in... I'm pretty sure it will open up in... Yeah. So our camera's running. It's just not in Fluid for whatever reason. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on here. "906, can you verify that your URL formatting is the same as the URL formatting that I'm using?" Let me pull up Discord and I will drop it to you. I'll drop it in your general. It, it's not sending for some reason. If you want to drop the URL that you're using in Discord, I'll check that out, verify it against mine, but this should be the correct readout for the stream URL. Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't know if there was like some funky stuff going on. Do stream after? Let's try. I mean, it's MPEG adaptive. There's nothing else really for it to be. Technically, it could be Technically, it could be the browser as well, acting strange. There's about 1,000 things that it could be. So let's go ahead and try mobile and see if we have a camera. No, it's definitely the configuration. Something's not working on the camera end. We'll go back to mod data. I mean, this camera information, um, and this is just normal. Okay. Yeah, not really sure at this point. This is something I could dig into later when I'm off stream and I'll figure it out. I may or may not come up with an answer, but as of right now, there's no stream. And this is interesting. SSH is disabled. I'm pretty sure we can enable that, but I'm not seeing, other than the update camera, which reloads it. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, it's still not coming through. Let me make sure that Fluid is not open on the other computer. I don't know if you guys know this, but the AD5M only prefers to have one stream open at a time. Okay, let's try this again. All right. Still no camera. I will deal with that later. But overall, I'm excited about the firmware. I think it looks great. It's incredibly promising. We just need to make sure that we have no major camera issues. Yeah, I have another USB camera, but I'm using it right here, right now. And the 5M doesn't like this camera at all for some reason, but I could still try it. This is the camera that I'm using is the default camera. But whatever it is, I'm sure this is something that's going to be ironed out. I'm not sure what his release schedule is going to look like for Forge X. I'm sure he's going to be working on it still in the future. He hasn't really showed any signs of just throwing something up and leaving it dead. At this point, I don't know if I would recommend diving in and running it as your only daily. You can play around with it. If it works great for you, leave it alone. But remember that whatever version that you put on today, there most likely are going to be updated and improved versions of Forge X that you can install later on. So don't just install this if you do install it and leave it. There are going to be improvements and updates. So make sure that you go to the GitHub and regularly watch what's going on. And I'm going to keep an eye on it. And whenever it's at a state where I think it's going to be good to dump into a video, I'm going to make sure that I do a full video for an install with all the information that would be useful. But for now, I'm going to kind of leave it right here. And let's see, how long have we been live now? We've been live for a while, 3 hours. So we will probably call it at that. Yeah, I don't really see anything else that we can do at this point. I can mess around with the camera for the next hour and a half or something and just not get anywhere. And I really don't want to do that. I do have some things I have to do today. I have to film another video that needs to come out tomorrow or this weekend. We're going to see. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for coming in. I'm going to leave it here where it's at. And whenever we get updates for Forge X, I'll make sure to keep following through, because better firmware on the 5M is going to be a huge win for the community. The Clipper mod has kind of got people by, but I don't really think that's the win here long term. And I'd love to see Forge X continue to go. So I'm going to head out, guys. Thanks for coming in, and I'll chat at you next live stream.